One of the best parts about the New Japan Strong program each and every week on NJPWworld.com is the introduction for wrestling fans all over the world to some young up-and-coming stars who are not quite household names yet, but one day could be. And my guest at this time has an upcoming opportunity in the Lion'S Break Crown tournament. And Barrett Brown, I've known you for a long time, it feels like, and I am so happy that you've gotten this break, you've gotten this opportunity to compete on New Japan Strong. You get the shot in this upcoming tournament. How are you doing? How's everything?
Kevin, I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here. I'm beyond words. Like you said, it's been such a long road to get here. But after 10 long years of scratching and clawing, and in this uncertain time, to be back at New Japan Pro Wrestling is a dream come true.
We talked in commentary about your road and the journey. So when we look at Texas, we can put, again, there's hours to the border on one end of the state, hours to the border on the other end, to the same to the north and to the south. And you can log thousands of miles each and every weekend if you wanted to on shows. 10 years. How many miles would you rough estimate you have logged in all of the years and all the travels just within Texas?
Just within Texas, thousands. I've done tours from like Chicago to Detroit, and it would be about the same length as if I go from one side of the state to the other. So I've logged thousands of miles just in the state of Texas, but it just feels good to get out of your home state. You know what I mean? To just travel across the country and do what you love. And that's why I love New Japan Pro Wrestling, is because I can tell that there's so many people here that have that same passion and drive for this business that I do.
Now, of course, you didn't just fall out of the sky into New Japan. You've been very impressive for years, and before there was New Japan Strong, you got the chance to compete in the Lion'S Break project shows and things like that. Tell me about like the first time when you got first contacted. What was that moment like for when, oh my God, I'm going to get to make my debut on a New Japan show?
Yeah, that actually came, I believe it was last September, when I was a part of the tryout at the LA dojo, because I had attended camps and seminars at the dojo. I think I've got like 8 to 10 lanyards in my living room just from the attendance that I've been at all those camps. But whenever I got the invite to come out to try out, immediately after the tryout was over, I got the news. They said, "Hey, you need to be in Anaheim in December." And I was elated. I can't tell you how many people I called, just how humbled I was to be a part of that. And I think it goes along with, just being in the business for a decade now and getting that kind of a break. It meant the world to me. It told me that all this time that I had spent, crying, bleeding, scratching, clawing my way through the business, that it wasn't for nothing. And I finally had that shot.
I've heard it said that when wrestlers, when they get the opportunity to compete for a big promotion, and let's just say for New Japan, they go, oh my God, I got hired to wrestle for New Japan Pro Wrestling. What do I do now? Was there some pressure on you? Like, now I've got to do something different. Now I've got to do something bigger, more spectacular? Or was there a confidence and a belief that what you had showed them was what they wanted to see?
It was more of a confidence situation. I knew that ever since I stepped foot into the dojo and started training with Shibata-san and some of the guys, despite my foundation I had laid in Texas, I kept those roots, but the style at New Japan is what I wanted to learn, and that's what I focused on. And I knew that there was a possibility of me getting a chance to debut. And I wanted my mindset to be that no matter what happened, I didn't want to have to get ready. I wanted to be ready. So when the opportunity came, that I was already prepared.
And
there was slight confidence already.
Being ready and staying ready
Right.
during this, time where we're really starting to come out of this shutdown and all. I'm sure it had to be a little bit problematic, as all of a sudden it's, hey, can you be in LA for, New Japan Strong? So, but again, that be ready, stay ready mindset, I'm sure served you well.
It did. I remember, I think that before I got the call, my last show was in the middle of March. So, but I'm also fortunate enough that actually where I live, I have a training facility with a ring and everything. So I've tried to stay on top of my craft, even though I haven't, been in a show in so long. I just focused on my fundamentals and staying ready instead of having to prepare, because when I got the call, I think it was a week in advance, and I was like, "Oh man, it's happening." I'm glad that I'm prepared. I'm a very mental person. I get very in my head about these kind of things, but knowing that it could happen, I'm just very glad that I stayed prepared.
So in this upcoming Lion'S Break Crown tournament, it's 8 wrestlers, a lot like you. You're not alone in this, because 7 other guys want the exact same thing that you want, and that's the break. That's the opportunity. Alex Kozlov, said when we talked about this tournament, he said the most important word in the name of this tournament is break, because the winner of this will get, enormous opportunities down the road. How much pressure are you feeling with this tournament right around the corner?
I'm definitely feeling the pressure, but I love this kind of pressure. This is a big match mentality going into it, and I've always thrived under this. I've made a career over the last 10 years out of proving people wrong. And coming into this and being probably what's going to be a relative unknown, I think that could benefit me, because in my head, I'm not going to be that guy that's going to be looking at having an internet GIF go viral. I'm coming into this to make a statement and to win. That is my mindset, and my mental capacity is to whatever it costs to make a name for myself and to earn my spot at New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Man, I'll tell you. So we've seen the weeks unfold here on New Japan Strong, and as every week goes by, I just see Bullet Club getting stronger and stronger. And I just don't know if there is an answer for all their horsepower that they have.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong though, Barrett. Tell me, is there something? Is there a unifying force with everyone else that can put their own egos aside and stand as one, stand strong, and stand up against Bullet Club? Because they're running through everybody.
They're running rampant. You're absolutely right. And I think it's going to take some kind of a single-minded, cohesive unit to come together to put them away, because, it's almost every month you see a new member get added to the Bullet Club. So the ranks continue to rise. So it's hard to say who it's going to be that will have to stop them, but it's got to be people that are committed to New Japan Pro Wrestling, to almost saving New Japan Pro Wrestling, because they've pretty much got a hostage at this point. So I guess time will tell, but I think that the right mindsets can get it done.
Well, I certainly see you as one of those young leaders in that regard, because it's like I said, I've known you for a long time, and every time I've ever run across you, it's always been work hard and work harder tomorrow. If you don't get the opportunity today, that doesn't mean tomorrow will be denied. And I think that mindset carries over very well. I want to ask you quickly about learning from Shibata-san and the idea of unlearning what you already knew. How much, because I've talked about this with Gabe Kidd. So Gabe had started as a pro at 14 and at 22, LA dojo, but had to basically unlearn everything that he had learned and do it Shibata's way. So how much of Shibata's style and teachings have you been able to incorporate into what you do?
I almost unlearned everything when I stepped into the dojo. I knew going in that I had to kind of throw out every bit of what I learned in Texas and all this groundwork. I knew it was going to be completely different here. It took me a little bit to adjust. My first time at the dojo, I had already had 8 years under my belt in the business. So it was kind of humbling having to do that. But my headspace was also, I knew that this is what I wanted. And still being in my 20s and being so young, I know that I still have time. And I want to be that guy that I don't want to know everything about one aspect of pro wrestling. I want to know a little bit of every aspect of pro wrestling, so that it doesn't matter who I'm in there with. Like my nickname, 50 caliber. I want to be a caliber ahead of everybody. So I'm prepared for anyone that I'm in there with. And to go into that dojo, learn under one of the best coaches, in my opinion, in the world, I was more than willing to throw away pretty much everything that I learned before that point.
Yeah. In order to get everything that you want, you have to throw away everything that you have.
Absolutely.
It's a fascinating mindset. Barrett, if you get the opportunity, if things continue to go well for you, you're going to be part of the junior heavyweight division in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And it's a very competitive field. I would imagine that you being the type of guy that you are, you're already looking down the road and you see some dream matches and you see some dream opponents, you know, in a year, 2 years, however long it takes. Who could you see yourself competing against? Talk to me about that scene, what that's like. Who have you envisioned competing against?
I will be completely honest, and it could shock some people, but one of my dream matches has always been Kenta. I have always wanted to test my physicality against one of the best pure strikers in the world. And I see nobody else anywhere in the world that could test me in that regard other than Kenta. So if I had to name the top guy on my list, I would say Kenta would be my dream match currently in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Well, again, you look at the way Kenta has maintained junior heavyweight on the scale, but has always hit with heavyweight power and is certainly the measuring stick for that hybrid style, being able to cross the weight classes. And really, one of the things that we've seen in New Japan in 2020, of course, has been more of this blended open weight type of thing because of, you know, the shutdown and everything. I could see you hanging with a Kenta. I could see you hanging with the big boys because you hit hard and you move aggressively and with purpose. There's no wasted motion, and there's something behind everything that you do. And I think that that's going to bode well. It minimizes mistakes, and you take advantage of opportunities. I don't want to jinx you because I'm terrible at these things, but you're one of my favorites in this tournament, and I look forward to seeing you go far.
I really appreciate that, Kevin. Again, it's not just that I'm happy to be here, but it's more than that. I know that's such a cliche to say, but it's not so much now about being happy to be here. Now it's about taking full advantage of the opportunity, and that's what I plan to do.
Well, you said it exactly right, and I think that that's exactly what you need to do. I expect you to do that full-hearted effort, as always, from Barrett Brown. So 50 caliber Barrett Brown's going to be part of the field of 8 in the upcoming Lion'S Break Crown tournament. You'll see all the tournament matches from start to finish on New Japan Strong, and it is available each and every week, a brand new episode on NJPWworld.com. Barrett, I want to thank you for your time, and I'll be talking to you down the road.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. It was a pleasure.